the Fall Tournament 2017 Soccer Coaches Webinar. This webinar is for soccer team only. This is not for skills. We will have a later skills webinar for you guys on Monday evening at 7:30. Just a couple of housekeeping items to start off. Please share this information with your coaching staff. This is not top secret information, so we want everybody to share this with their coaching staff, any chaperones you're bringing with you as well. Please share all that information with them. We've had instances where some assistant coaches or chaperones have come up and they didn't hear any of this information, so please do share that out. We will have a recording of this as well on the Fall Tournament HOD page after our webinar. We will be putting that up. Joining me today on the webinar, everybody is muted. So we have muted everybody so we don't hear your dogs or your kids in the background or whatever you're doing. So if you do have any questions, please type those in the question box and send those to us. Or you can text my cell phone. It is 919-996-9720. It's up there on the screen as well. You can also text me that, any questions you may have, and we will answer those at the end of us going through this information. So joining me today is Howard Barber, a member of our sport development team, and John as well, and he is on our sport development team, and he will be listening in and chiming in with anything that he needs to say. Like I said, this information will be on the Fall Tournament HOD webpage, and you can direct people there to listen to the recording. All right, so who should be on this call? You should have at least one representative from your program. If you don't have a representative, you won't be able to protest any calls. So one person from this program should be on this call or listening to the recording. If they listen to the recording, that will count, as long as they send in the code word that I will be saying strategically through this presentation. So head coaches, assistant coaches, anybody else that you think needs this information can be on this call. As I said, Sean is not on this call tonight. He actually had a work emergency, so Howard is on with us. And then some just general public service announcements. Just a reminder that good sportsmanship is necessary for a great event. Please be an example for your athletes. We expect the same from spectators as well, so please pass that word on to your chaperones, to your parents, to the grandparents, to anybody that's coming to watch your team perform. Everything is much more pleasant when everybody's nice. I think we can all agree on that. We like it when everybody's nice and plays by the rules. This includes communication with the officials. So we don't want any instances of communication with the officials that is not appropriate. We do understand that this is sports. Emotions are heavy at times, and that is the great thing about sport. But we want to keep it. We want to keep it civil. We want to keep it nice to each other and competitive, and a great experience for the athletes and for all of us. If you or a parent does have an issue that requires competition personnel, please work that through your head coach. And they can discuss that with the competition staff in a calm, cool, and collected manner. Nobody's perfect. We do want to address any issues, and we will do so. Just please do it in a calm manner. You will get a better response from our competition management and from anybody on staff if you are calmer. So please just be aware of that. Some games management team, if you do have any questions or concern about the competition, please find the competition managers. Our sport development team will be out there. That is John Gillen, Maurice Melvin, and Howard Barber. They are great sources. They will be running our competition, and they will be able to answer those questions that you may have. We will have some practice fields available through the weekend, and we want to ensure that everybody has that opportunity to practice prior to competition. So please do stick to not taking up more than a quarter of that field. It's not the largest field, and we want everybody to be able to warm up with their teams. So please do that. And then upon your arrival at the venue, the head coach should stop by the check-in and inform us of any scratches. If you have any scratches already, you can always send that to us at registration@sonc.net or sports@sonc.net, and and I will have that email up later on in the slides. For some facility specifics, this is our first year in Charlotte for fall tournament. We are very excited to be in Charlotte. We were in High Point for 11 years. I know many of you were used to High Point, but this is going to be a great event. We're very excited about some of the new things in store we have for Charlotte. We have a beautiful venue for soccer. It is Colonel Francis Beatty Park. They have 6 fields or 3 fields that we will turn into our 6 fields, and it'll be kind of secluded, so we are back there by ourselves a little bit. So it'll be very nice for that. And just please note that when you are coming to the venue, that parking is limited, and we have parking, as you can see on the map here, a limited space right here. We will have overflow parking for you all, and we will have a way to get from overflow to the actual fields. So just please be patient with that. Please be patient with our transportation volunteers. We will have plenty of them out there to direct you to where to go. There will be plenty of signs out there as well, so make sure you guys are getting to the right place at the right time. As I said, we are a little bit secluded out here, but there is a wedding going on right next to us, on 2 weddings actually, on Saturday and Sunday. So we just ask that you be mindful of that as well. We will not affect the wedding in any way as far as noise. It is far enough away, but please do not park where it says do not park. Those signs are there for a reason. That is somebody's wedding, and as most of us, myself married, please respect that as if it was your wedding, or if you have kids, your children's wedding as well. We want that to be a special day for them, and we don't want to have a bunch of Special Olympics coaches and caravans running into that wedding. It will be busy, but like I said, we will have transportation volunteers that will be directing you, and we will have plenty of signage for you guys to know where you're going. You can see from this layout here how the fields will be set up. We will have 6 fields. 2 of them will be smaller, the 30 by 40. And then we will have our souvenirs, lunch distribution, concessions will all be in this area that is by the restrooms, and a nice concrete patio area. We'll have awards out to the side there in that grassy area, and we will have lunch distribution there as well. Skills competition, I won't get into that too heavily, but we will have that on this back field back here, as you can see, and that will be where the warm-up field is as well. It is a short walk there, and it is behind this front field, and it is covered by trees, so you can't necessarily see it from the road. So be mindful of that, but that will be the warm-up field, and we will have goals there as well. And then anything else, we have medical situated by the field, so if you do have a medical emergency, we'll get in that later, that's where they will be, and then everything will be centrally located as well. Spectators, they're able and welcome to bring chairs and tents to set up in our open areas. We do ask that you guys be mindful of your space and those around you. We ask that you don't get too close to the fields, and there's plenty of space to be around in this area. There's some grassy space kind of in between the parking and the parking lot. That could be an area for a couple delegations to set up, and then there's some along the fields as well. So you are able to bring chairs. We do have limited bleachers on each field. We have 1 set of bleachers on each field. They're not the largest bleachers, so don't expect that to always be readily available, but we do have some seating for spectators. As I said, parking, please be patient. There will be about 400 to 500 of you all between all of our teams, coaches, volunteers, chaperones, any miscellaneous personnel on Saturday and Sunday. So it will be a very busy venue, as you all know from years past. So parking, I can't stress it enough. We will have overflow parking, and we will make sure you are taken from overflow to the fields. We do ask that you be patient with our shuttle service and those who are running that. shuttles, we will run them as continuously as we can, and we will try to accommodate everybody that we can. But parking will be something to be mindful of. And carpool if you can. Most of you guys are good about carpooling. Nobody is necessarily riding by themselves. If you have to, that is fine. But if you are able to carpool, that is why we definitely encourage that. And now I'm going to let Howard talk about some competition points.
Well, hi everybody. I'm really looking forward to this weekend. It's going to be a beautiful place to play soccer down there. All right, what does a weekend look like? So play is going to take place over 3 days for this tournament. All right, same as in last year. Friday, you're going to have shortened screening games for divisioning purposes. Saturday, we'll then have the round robin play. Those games will begin at 9 o'clock in the morning. Sunday will be division for the gold medal, silver medal games. All right, just like we've done in the previous years. After each day, and all the games are done, the teams will be redivisioned to set teams in the most appropriate divisions possible for medal rounds on Sunday. We do the best we can. We try and get it off to a good start on Friday night, so it's a good weekend for the athletes. Remember, this is all about them this weekend. Please be aware that no schedules will be available at the dance. Instead, once we get the schedules done, the divisions are set, a mass text will be sent out to the coaches and HODs to alert them that the schedules are available on the website. We know you may have questions about schedules and divisions. Nathan will be available to answer those questions each evening from 7 to 10. Awards will be presented on Sunday at the conclusion of each division and will be on the grass next to the souvenir sales. When your teams are finished with their last game, please bring them directly to the staging area so they may be staged for the presented awards. Athletes should not be stopping to change or hanging out. It holds up the whole process, and the pictures look way better when everyone is still in uniform. Awards will be based on the final division set Sunday. And I know everybody's in a hurry to get out of there, so that the sooner you can get your complete team there, get your awards and pictures taken care of, have a great rest of your Sunday. Uniforms. Please, please, please have your teams properly outfitted for competition. Those teams with uniform violations will have a goal automatically awarded to their opponent before the start of the game. This is a change from last year where there was just a penalty kick awarded. All right, protests. All right, it is a coach's right to file it, all right, if the coach believes there has been an infraction of the rules. Judgment calls are not an infraction of the rules. Protest forms are always included in your HOD packet and are also available with the competition manager. In order to file a protest, you must be a representative at the coaches meeting for that program. Must be a level 1, 2, or 3 coach, all right, are appropriate for the sport which you're protesting, and must be within 30 minutes of the incident or infraction. If a coach files a protest, the Sport Rules Committee will discuss and rule on the protest. On this committee are the competition managers, the head official, SONC staff, and a coach from a participating county. A coach may appeal the decision of the game's rules committee. If you wish to do so, please let the competition manager know. And to file a protest, a representative from a program must be present at this webinar. All right, couple updates. All the SOI and SONC rules modifications can be found on the soccer page of the SONC website. It is important that you, your coaching staff, are aware of any and all updates that have been made. All right, competition specific notes. I believe Nathan mentioned a little bit earlier. Teams competing on fields 1, 2, 5, and 6 will be using the 7-foot by 21-foot goals. Teams competing on fields 3 and 4 will use the 6 by 12-foot goals. With this change, we have upped the mercy rule from 8 goals to 10 goals. And we will be keeping an eye on teams to make sure that it does not give one team an advantage over the other team, and we'll do whatever we need to kind of help that out a little bit. Teams must be ready to play at the time of their scheduled game. A team automatically forfeits the game if they are 10 minutes late. On Sunday, a team will forfeit their game if they are 10 minutes late from the time the preceding game finished. Friday games will consist of two 10-minute halves and a 2-minute halftime. Saturday games are two 15-minute halves with a 5-minute halftime. Home and away teams have been assigned for Friday and Saturday. Home teams are listed first on the schedule, or ask the scorekeeper if they have a schedule if you're not sure. The home team will be seated on the right-hand side of the scorekeeper. The visiting team will be seated on the left-hand side of the scorekeeper. On Sunday, the higher-seeded team will always be the home team. The home team will kick off the first half. On Friday and Saturday games will be stopped and started on the horn. We've been doing that for several years now, guys. It's the best way to get things done Saturday. 2 air horn blasts 3 minutes prior. 1 long blast will start the game, end the first half, and start the second half and end the game. 2 blasts 3 minutes into the halftime. All right, so you'll get a couple of quick blasts 3 minutes prior to the start of the game and start of the second half. You got to pay attention. All players on the roster must play in the game. A minimum of 3 players is needed on the field to start a game. Now, from the goalkeeper's throw, if the ball is touched by any player inside the penalty area, the throw shall be retaken. Also, on a goalkeeper's throw, it must hit the ground or a player before it goes over the midline, or it's given to the other team. When an indirect free kick is awarded to the attacking team inside the penalty area within 5 meters from the goal line, the referee must place the ball at 5 meters from the goal line. From a kick-in, a goalkeeper cannot pick up a ball passed back to him by his own player. Overtime and penalty kicks. All right. Overtime consists of 2 5-minute periods. On Friday and Saturday, all ties will remain as ties. The overtimes will only be played on Sunday. If the game is still tied after the overtime periods, penalty kicks shall be used to decide the game. The first 5 players to participate in the penalty kicks will be those on the field at the end of the last period. Each player takes a penalty kick, alternating teams with each shot. The highest score after 5 penalty kicks is declared the winner. If after both teams have taken 5 kicks, both have scored the same number of goals or have not scored any goals, kicks will continue to be taken in the same order using the remainder of the team's players, including the goalkeepers, until one team has scored one more goal than the other from the same number of kicks. Substitutions, unlimited in number and can be made anytime there is a ball out of play. Now, you can't just send your players into the field. Coaches, you need to work with the officials. Let them know you have a sub, all right, before they're sent into the game. Following competition, teams will be divisioned for play on Saturday. Saturday competition will be a round robin, with teams being seeded for the medal competition on Sunday. Sunday's format for 4 team divisions will be a single elimination tournament bracket with the losers bracket, i.e. 1 versus 4 and 2 versus 3. Losing teams advance for the bronze medal, 4th place ribbon game, with winning teams playing for the gold and silver medals. The number 1 seed in a 3-team division receives a bye, with the loser of the number 2, 3 seeds game receiving the bronze. Coaching from the benches area. A team bench area will be provided for each team and marked off by a painted rectangle with the bench for the players. Coaches and substitutes must remain within the bench area at all times. Only one coach is supposed to be standing at a time. We keep an eye out for that, guys. I talk to at least one coach every weekend. So anyways, only one at a time. Failure to adhere to this may lead to the coach being sent from the field of play. I haven't had any issues, guys. Appreciate you working with me on that. Coaches are expected to restrict their coaching to simple verbal encouragement or constructive instruction. All right. Coaches may not talk to the players from the other team. And the one thing I can ask also, please, is that if you have any parents or family that get excited, please let them know that them coaching, all that does is confuse the athletes. So any efforts that you can make, and that would be appreciated. And I guess that's about it for me. Back to you, Nathan.
Thank you. Want to go over some redivisioning and schedules and how you guys are going to get your hands on those. So after each day of play, like Howard said, we will redivision the teams on Friday and Saturday nights and set them in the most appropriate divisions possible for medal rounds on Sunday and for on Saturday for that round robin competition. So they will be, our sport development team and competition team will be watching games very closely. And as always, we'll do a great job of setting those divisions, and we will be releasing those to you guys. So no schedules will be available at the dance this year. Instead, once the schedules and divisions are set each evening, we will be sending out a mass text message to all the coaches and HODs to alert them that they are available on the website. I believe we've been trying to get a lot of your cell phone numbers and have most of them. If you do not receive a text for some reason on Friday or Saturday evening, and as the evening goes on, then please contact your HOD, because chances are they receive the text and they know that the divisions are ready and they have not sent that to you yet. Also, if you believe that you haven't received the text yet and you want to check the HOD page, you can do that as well. We work to get those schedules done as quickly as we can. There's no promises on time, but we will get those done as quickly as we can and put those up on the HOD page. So before you go to bed, you can have those and know what your next day's competition will be looking like. So we know will have some questions about the schedule divisions. I personally will be available to answer those questions from 7 to 10 p.m. If it is a little bit after that, if you have a question that you really need the answer to, go ahead and send me a text. I will most likely, and by most likely I mean I will be up pretty late that night, so I will try to get back to you as quickly as I can. If you don't hear from me, just keep checking that HOD page. But we will try to communicate the best we can with you all. We are really utilizing this texting system to get this information out to you and as quickly as we can. So please just check your phones, especially on Saturday night as you're at the dance having a good time. And that is most likely when you'll be getting that text message. Awards. They will be presented on Sunday upon the conclusion of each game or place deciding match. So i.e. the gold medal game, gold medal and silver medal game. After that, those two teams will be presented. The third and fourth will be presented as well after that. We will not be waiting on a whole division to finish and do it at one time. So as those games are finishing, they will go to awards, receive it, and go through the presentation, and then they will be done. So that will be after each place deciding match on Sunday. When they are done with the awards presentation ceremony, please pick them up from there. I'm sure you guys will be ready to go. But please do be patient with our awards volunteers. They are volunteers. They do a great job of our awards, and we cannot thank them enough. But it is a very fun and it is a very hard job at times as well. So please be patient with them. If it does take a little bit longer than you would like, just know that they are working to make sure we get it right. We would rather take our time and make sure we get the award ceremony right than rush and make a mistake and make that mistake for that athlete's experience. So please keep that in the back of your mind as you all are trying to get home and head out. Just know that we are trying to finish as quickly and get you guys home as well, but know that we want to take our time and make sure that we're going to do it right. Athletes shouldn't be stopping or to change or hanging out As I believe Howard mentioned, we want them in their uniforms. Those pictures look a lot better when they are a team and they have the uniforms on. So please do that. We don't want them changing. That all that does is takes even longer. So you keep them in those uniforms and then take the picture, and then if they want to change, let them change. So that will be awards on Sunday. Lunch, when everybody wants to know. When lunches are ready, it will be announced. Please send one person from your delegation or team or a couple to help you guys to actually get them and to the pickup area and take the food back to your athletes. A last minute update that I just received. We will be having sandwiches from Quick Trip on Saturday. So we will not be having Sheets. As some of you may know, in the Charlotte area, Sheets does not operate. Quick Trip does. So we don't have that wonderful partnership down there this time, but Quick Trip has stepped up and is going to give some sandwiches to us for Saturday. And then Elevation Church, which has done a great job of really stepping up and helping us out tremendously in this entire tournament. They will be providing lunch. It looks like it'll be turkey and cheese wraps with some sides as well on Sunday. So we can't thank both of those enough. Elevation Church especially has really stepped up as a group and is providing a lot for us logistically throughout the weekend. So we want to thank both of those organizations. And we will have lunch then. Medical, as I said, is located up by Field 1 in the corner. If you guys need medical for any reason, and that's not just athletes, that's you as coaches, as a chaperone, anybody that's on the site. If they need medical attention, medical is there. If it is an emergency where they need an emergency room in a hospital, please dial 911 first. Our medical volunteers are trained medical volunteers. A lot of times they're nurses, PAs, doctors of nature, so they will be able to briefly attend to them. But if it is an actual emergency where they need to be rushed to the hospital, please dial 911. The next question that I'm sure we will get is weather. So everybody keep your fingers crossed that it will be beautiful weather. I know it will be, and we all are hoping it will be, but it is North Carolina in November. So it could be 85 degrees, it could be 45 degrees. So please be aware of that. We are completely outside. There is not a lot of shade, and be aware of that and dress appropriately. In the morning, it will most likely be chilly, those first few games. So spectators and coaches, just prepare for that. And then we will, continue to monitor the weather. If we do have any kind of emergency evacuation or situation where we need to stop games, we will let you know through an air horn signal, and that will mean to take cover immediately. And we will communicate that plan with you if that happens. Weather updates, as I said, we are watching it. There is no makeup for fall tournament, so please do come prepared for that. And also for your athletes, we do play in the rain. So just know that if it does rain a little bit, we will be playing in that, and prepare yourselves and the athletes for that as well. As long as it's safe, we will play. So fall tournament, some just general updates on fall tournament 2017. Opening ceremonies will kick off Friday at 7:30. We will have a delegation march in. We will have some local news anchors that will be emceeing this, and it'll be a great time at the Bojangles Coliseum. It is open to the public, free of charge, so pass that on to anybody you know that would want to come out and see it. As you all that have been at opening ceremonies in the past, it is a great time. It's a fun party atmosphere, and we're looking forward to it in Charlotte at Bojangles Coliseum. The next important one is that dance Saturday night that they can't stop talking about. So Olympic Town will be opening at 6. DJ will start playing at 7 p.m. We will have a lot of fun there with some games. We will have some healthy athletes as well. So we are still going to have healthy athletes, and highly, highly encourage and urge you guys to take advantage of that. You have entire teams of 6 to 10 athletes. that we have these services for free. We have these volunteers who have dedicated their time to come out, and they want to see athletes. They want to be busy. So please, from being working with soccer, I would love to see as many teams as we can get go through our healthy athletes. So please take advantage of that. We will have 4 great healthy athletes stationed: fun fitness, healthy hearing, opening eyes, and special smiles. So this is a lot of times where we catch athletes that need glasses. And as a soccer player, you need to be able to see the ball. And that is very important. So there's a free screening to see if they need glasses. So please take advantage of those. They're good times. They will have a little prize if you go to all 4, a little incentive there. So, please check those out. We put a lot of our staff puts a lot of hard work into providing that for you all, and we would love to have you guys check that out and take advantage of that. As Howard mentioned, I know the biggest thing competition-wise is the size of the goals moving and using those larger goals for most of our competition, divisions 1 through 5. And using those 7-foot by 21-foot goals, we will have a larger goal box as well. Due to that, we will not have the same size goal box, so we will have a larger one to accompany that. This change is one that we've been looking to make for a few years now, just never have necessarily found the right time. But due to many other soccer tournaments happening in the area this weekend that we were going to be there, we're not able to get as many goals of our typical 6 by 12 size that we would need to make a fair competition for all. We want everybody to play on the same goals that are in the same division regardless. So that is why we have made that change. I understand that some of you may not practice on those goals, but just know that it is everybody will be playing on the same goals, so it will be fair. We will see that in divisioning, and we will make changes as necessary. So please, if you do have questions, feel free to reach out. I'm happy to answer any questions or concerns you may have, but know that we will make sure that competition is fair for all of our teams. We want all the athletes to have a great time, but we also want them to be able to have the chance to compete and to win that gold medal. So that is all I have for competition. One last thing, daylight savings time, I believe it is, turns back 1 hour on Saturday night. So please remember that. I encourage you to get a hotel wake-up call because they will have the right time. Sometimes cell phones don't change back, or sometimes they do, but I would have that as a backup to make sure that you guys get there on time and get that extra hour of sleep. How great is that? You can party at the dance all night long and still get an extra hour of sleep. So that is great news. So the code word, as I mentioned earlier, is OLE. So OLE, like they say in soccer, how you want to spell it, you spell it however you want to spell it. I won't tell you. I kind of want to see how you guys do spell it. So send that to sports@sonc.net. And I'm going to send that as an answer right now to all of you. Sports, SPORTS, @sonc.net. Send that code word OLE to sports@sonc.net. And yes, that is a very good point, Lisa, about the gym dance floor. We will be at Butler Gym, and it is a newly refinished floor. So please wear tennis shoes for the dance. We don't want to be that group that comes in and scouts up their brand new floor because you had to wear your tuxedo shoes. Tennis shoes will work just fine in a tuxedo, and it gives you more mobility to dance the night away. So please wear tennis shoes. That's for everybody while we are at the dance on that basketball floor. We don't want to be that group that comes in and ruins their brand new floor. So please keep that in mind. And now I'm going to open up to any questions anybody may have. You can text them in. My number is 919-996-9720. I'll say it one more time. It's 919-996-9720. 9720, or you can type it in that question box that you guys have on your screen. Type it in, and I will give everybody a few minutes to get their questions in so we can answer them.
One more thing, if I may, about uniforms and weather. If it's cold, sweatpants, sweatshirts, absolutely, guys. Sweatpants, you do not have to have them on over the shorts, but sweatpants must be under the shirt on top so we can see the number. No jeans are allowed. No jeans are allowed. Sweatpants, sweatshirt, pants can go on over the top of your shorts. The sweatshirt must go under the uniform. And please have pennies, guys. We always have two teams with the same color playing each other.
And I got a question here about the Friday rankings. So those rankings are decided by the scores that you guys send in on your registration, but we also take into consideration last year's results and how your team fared last year, while understanding at the same time that your team may not be exactly the same. So we do still rely on those ratings. As a point to say about the ratings, we want to get as good a ratings as you guys can get. It's pretty cut and dry as far as how you should rate your players and overall rate your team. So please, when you're doing that and evaluating them, be as fair and honest as you can, because we do look at those. We do use those. We have Friday divisioning for this reason, though, because we understand that we can't necessarily rely just on strictly ratings without seeing them play yet. But that is kind of how we go through it. Howard and John and Maurice, they've seen these teams, some of these teams for many years. They remember them from the past, and myself from the sports staff, rely on their experience and seeing them as well to division on that on Friday. I got another question here. If an athlete has a meltdown in the rain and they don't want to play in that game, can they play in the following game? Howard, I'm going to direct that one to you.
All athletes should play in all games, even if they want to. If you can get them in and out, first of all, you need to get in touch with one of us, okay? But you need to get them into the game, even if it's just for a couple of minutes, because they have issues like that. It's just all part of the being fair. That's just like if they don't show up and they don't play on Friday, they don't get to play the rest of the weekend. So every athlete should play in every game. It just affects the dynamics of the team when you have athletes staying out like that.
Mm-hmm. Thank you for that, Howard. And I have a question about divisioning and moving teams. We will move teams to appropriate divisions based on how we see them play on Friday, and as well as Saturday. If we need to move them as well, we can do that too. So there's no set movement of divisions that we have. We move them based on how we feel that we see them play and where they need to go. On Friday, we'll try to get them to the best possible division on Saturday, and if we need to adjust from Saturday's competition, we'll do the same thing again for that medal round on Sunday to make sure that they have a chance to compete and to win. So I have a question about your team being maybe in a higher division that you think they can get or that they should be in. Just know that we will be watching them, and that they will be put in an appropriate division. Divisioning is an art, it's not a science, and all of us are work hard to make sure that it's a fair competition for all. So just know that we are all giving our 110% best to make sure this competition is fair for all.
And all of us have been coaches and understand understand what happens when teams are moved from one division to the other. So yeah, no, it is not something that is done willy-nilly. Only if there's real reason to believe that moving them will give the athletes a better game on the following day will we move them.
Mm-hmm. And we also understand that this is sports, and you sometimes have a bad game. You have a bad game or a bad day or a bad tournament. That's something you get that we can't necessarily predict how a team may react. So that also is a consideration and a factor that is in play when it comes to divisioning. I have a question
Absolutely.
here. How are divisions and ranking? Is Division I higher skilled athletes? So our rankings is divisions 1 through 5 are the higher skilled athlete, the higher ability. 6 through 8 is our lower rated teams, lower ability teams, and that's the reasoning for the smaller fields, putting them, having them play on those two 30 by 40 fields, and in hopes using those 6 by 12 goals. So we will have those 3 divisions playing on those fields and using those small goals. And then 1 through 5, divisions 1 through 5 will be playing on the larger fields with the larger goals. I hope that clears some things up for you guys as well. Keep the questions coming in. I'll give it a couple more minutes for the sake of everybody's time. If you have any questions after this webinar and that you think of, send those questions to sports@sonc.net. You can also text me if you do have them, any questions. When you do text me, just include your delegation and your name and your team name as well, just so I know who I'm talking to. That way I can, if it's a personal question, we can talk on the side. And also do note, this is one I just thought of, we're in Charlotte this year, and Charlotte has a lot of traffic, as I experienced myself this morning going to a venue. So be aware of that when you're traveling to the venue, that Charlotte has a lot. Charlotte's got a lot is their slogan. It's got a lot of traffic, had a lot of traffic. So be wary of that, and try to prepare the best you can for that. I suggest leaving even earlier than you think early is. It took me 35 minutes to go 10 miles. So that tells you something for their traffic. Being on the weekend, we probably will experience less traffic. Just be prepared for that, though, and plan ahead. All right, one last call for questions, and then we will end the coaches webinar for tonight. I do thank everybody for your time and for listening to us. We are looking forward to a great tournament this year. Our first year in Charlotte is going to be exciting. A little bit of change of pace here, so we're excited. We look forward to seeing you all. I look forward to meeting a lot of you coaches. Most of you probably don't know me. My name is Nathan Brookins. I am the sport director for the East, and I've been on staff for a little less than a year now. So I am looking forward to meeting a lot of you coaches and getting to know some of your athletes and watching them play. And then some of you, I got a question, how do you know if you have our right cell phone number? Well, the one that texted me that, I got yours now, so thank you. We have a list that we have been compiling with your HODs as well, so we will be double checking that and may send out another report as well to make sure that everything is correct and we have your guys' numbers updated. And how much, I have a question here, Howard, I'll let you answer this one as well. How much time will we have on the playing field before the game?
That is a good question. We usually try and get them in, was it 2:30, 10 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes. I think we had it set up to try and run a game every 45 minutes. 35, about
Mm-hmm.
10 minutes, I think it is. So yeah, 10 minutes between games. So as soon as the other game is over, the other teams are welcome. I'm going to give it a chance to get off, but then the other teams are welcome to go on the field and warm up a little bit on that field. We do have the practice fields for you guys to warm up with, and then pay attention to that horn blast for your countdown for the game start. So and have your athletes on the field ready to go when the game starts. It's not gather them up and then place them on the field when the game starts. Okay, so from the sound of the horn blast, the 3-minute warning horn blast, you need to start getting your athletes on the field, getting them set. So when it's time for the game to start, because the game's going to start, whether your athletes are on the field and ready to play or not. We're going on the horns. That time is set, and that's when games are going to start.
All right, so I think that's all the questions. As I said, if you have any other questions you think of, just send that to our email at sports@smc.net. You can check out the HOD page. It has your schedule up there. That's where we'll be posting everything. It has your divisions for Friday, the Friday schedule. So please check all that stuff out. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you, Howard, for being on this with us as well. And look forward to seeing everybody at fall tournament. Everybody have a safe trip down, and we will see you next Friday. Thank you, everybody. Good night.